Before I get into the VP, I remember going to a conference in New York. It was a whole bunch of us in different areas of activism getting together, people from all sides of the spectrum, both on the left, on the right, in the middle, everywhere we came together, urban, rural, all of that. And we are sitting down at a retreat in upstate New York, this beautiful forest retreat. And we're sitting down talking about why we do what we do, right? And I got up when it was my time and I said, one of the reasons I dedicated my life to this is because I wanted to empower folks to take their lives over and realize who they really are to the time. The guy got up and he stopped me and he said, you don't have the power to do what's already there. In other words, all of us in America really are already empowered. All those of us who dedicate our lives to activism can do is remind you, enlighten you, allow you to see within yourselves that you are an empowered person, someone who already has the power to make change. The other thing you have is the power to do nothing. If you do nothing, you have to take whatever is given. If you realize you're already empowered and use your power, you can actually do things. When Jack talks about who is government going to serve, government is we the people. An empowered people, government serves. Right now, our government is, as Jack and Howard mentioned, is serving the corporations. It is behaving like a business. And that ain't right because, again, we are the ones with the power. I wanted to talk about what the media is really missing. You know, we're constantly hearing about DEI and we sit and you know, I write about it as well. We fight among each other about DEI. Is that person getting a benefit because of diversity, equity, and inclusion because of DEI? And we sit down and we fight about these things, right? And we sit down and we fight about textbooks and what should be taught. And we fight about all these things that are superficial when you really take a look at it. While when Donald Trump was elected, if you looked at who was sitting behind him, was all these billionaires of high-tech companies. But we were busy talking about other stuff. You know, we are busy fighting each other. You know, we have some callers calling here and they want my neck. They want Jack's neck, Howard's neck. You know, what are we saying? Well, look, we have to see the big picture and realize what's going on. J.D. Vance went across the ocean to an AI convention and he goes out there and he says, we, America, intend to be the leaders in AI. That's fine. Everybody, I can imagine every country should get up and say, we want to be the leader in AI. I mean, you all have your motivations. Go up and say whatever you want to say. But then he comes out and he says, he threatens countries around the world. He says, we believe, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, we believe regulation is bad and you countries better not attempt to regulate AI. And on the surface, that sounds like just an economic threat or something that really doesn't matter, or just something that he's spewing. But if you take a look at what Donald Trump and his minions are doing right now, it is to play bully around the world, to force the people around the world to have a certain set of behaviors. I'm getting there. I want to get there. But I first want to remind everybody, you are empowered, you are already powerful, and you can change what's going to happen because this is deeper than anyone understands based on what the media is putting out right now. So he doesn't want regulations, and they're almost tempting the world, or not daring the world, to put regulations on else. In other words, they want to force the world not to put regulations onto AI. All right. And then today I'm listening to Morning Joe, and one of the hosts rightfully said, what is he talking about? Not regulating AI. It's kind of crazy. And then Richard Haas, one of our more than a diplomat out there, he's a neoliberal, but I can normally agree with some of what he says because it's sensible. But he comes out and says, yeah, AI is too vast to regulate, and it changes so fast. We don't need to have regulations on it, etc. And I'm like, oh my God, they've got to him too. Don't regulate AI? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? We have Musk and a whole bunch of little kids who have, quote unquote, read access to all the data in the IRS, all the data in USAID, all the data in all the agencies, all the data, quote unquote, read access, and they can absorb it into their system. And they're cutting here and there. And purportedly, they're putting this data through AI to go ahead and determine some of the things they're going to do. But let me digress a bit. There's nothing magical about AI. Look, I use AI, I produce my videos in real time. A lot of the videos that I play, I produce them in real time. I turn them into a transcript of the words that I put out there. I filter it through AI so that AI can go ahead and start prosing and doing certain things for me. In other words, I'm research. If I have certain links I want to get these things and get them quickly, acquire it quickly. So I do a whole lot of that. It is helpful. It's like having a researcher sitting down next to what you want to put on there. But let me explain something. That technology belongs to all of you out there. Have you ever posted something to Facebook? Have you ever written a tweet? Have you ever answered a question on Facebook? A friend of yours had an issue that they didn't understand, but you do, and you gave them an answer. And I can look up that message chain that you did and see those answers. All of you that are listening to my voice right now are funders of AI. Your knowledge base or your knowledge base. In other words, what you know, what you don't know, what you made an error in talking about, all of that creates an online body of not only who you is, but who America is, who the world is. So all that data is out there. And what AI does, these algorithms do, is they take a data set, and because a supercomputer can work much faster than the milliseconds that electronics work in your brain, it can come up with an answer faster. So if I need to research something, I can go ahead and go to link number 1, read the document that gives me some other links number 2, and research. And that research may take me an entire day. With AI, I can research something I want to talk about in an hour. But why am I able to do that? Because I can quickly get to all the people who over the decades, over the millennia, has placed all that information into the ethos space. Google is digitizing just about every book ever written, and all of that is online. And now we can search all this stuff online. We can give them degrees of certainty, degrees of reliability, degrees of authority, so that we can plausibly say this answer is better than that answer. Just like I would do when I'm pulling documents down. If I see a document comes from a right-wing site, I know that it's likely incorrect. If I see a document that comes from a left-wing site, I might know it has a certain kind of a bias. But all of that is all of our knowledge. Now, there are a lot of implications with that. And I'm going to get back to JD Vance and regulations in a minute, and the super boys, okay? All of that is basic knowledge that all of you put out there. So you are an integral part of the knowledge base that AI uses. But what AI does, as an activist, I write a lot of articles that I want to put in the ethos so that other people can read, and we can also educate ourselves and learn about economics, learn about how capitalism works, how democratic socialism works, how all these things work. I want people to understand these concepts, and I research it. I can do a whole lot more research and put out a whole lot more stuff because of AI. What that means, however, is that whereas as my activism grow, I may have hired 3 or 4 people that are doing research and finding out laws that are being passed, etc. I no longer need to hire 3 or 4 researchers. Why? Because I have AI to do the research, right? And I am paying ChatGPT, and I may purchase another one as well, but I'm paying ChatGPT, I don't know, $30, $40 a month or so. That gives me access to the chat box to do research. But I'm not paying somebody the let's say 40 person hours at a minimum of $20 an hour to do that work. So as you can see, the scales are huge, and it means that there are 4 people that normally would have had jobs that will not have jobs. And you're telling me you don't want regulations on AI. We need regulations on AI for things like the following. Those techno bros who paid people to create the algorithms that searches a database of all our combined data, they pay those guys one time, and then as those algorithms work and work and work to answer the queries I make and other researchers make, they just repeat the stuff, repeat and go, repeat and go. Normally, we would have human beings doing that work. Now, why do we need regulations? Well, we need to take into account that knowledge came from all of us. And as such, those people that would have had work that don't have work, and when I say those people, I'm talking about everybody, right? We need to change an economic system that takes that into account. Meaning, now that we have this technology, there are several things that we should regulate. Likely work hours should drop by a bunch. Also, the increase in people's salary should go up by a bunch. Also, we should start looking into things like basic income. People may say, well, how are we going to give basic income? Are you talking about giving money to people that are not working or that don't work? No, people are working. All this technology that we have out there, all of you form a part of that technology that was created. You are the raw material. So if Elon Musk and AI and all the open AI guys out there, when they're mining data, you mine for gold, you mine for carbon, you mine for diamonds, you mine for all these things, all of that thing that they are mining is you. So when somebody says, I don't agree with basic income, they're pretty much saying, I don't agree with taking your knowledge and paying for it. Because as a society, we are the body of knowledge. What they are trying to do, what J.D. Vance is trying to tell the rest of the world, is what capitalism has done all of the times. Abstract the pain, and a few live very, very well. Folks, understand, if what I'm saying isn't very well understood, I beg you to call in and ask specifics, because this is deeper than most of us will ever understand, or well, we will understand, but most of us realize where they're going with it. The idea is this new technology is coming out. It's going to make a lot of people obsolete because we don't need a lot of people anymore. And what that means is the persons or people or countries that control this technology, they can go ahead and do as they please. They are monarchs, and everybody becomes the enslaved, like we are becoming right now. And my thing is that we must have regulations. We must have regulations that put the humanity and realize that it is us who are responsible for AI. Even the designers, even the programmers, their knowledge came from our tax dollars that have invested in the institution of learning that have allowed them to attain what they're attaining. Bottom line, we have to wake up. Yes, we must be woke. The reason why they are going against wokeism, because again, all wokeism means is that you are woke. They won't pull something over your head. You are awake and you know what's going on. You are educated. They want to keep you dumb. They want to keep you asleep. You need to be woke. Is wokeism good? Wokeism is not only good, wokeism is essential, especially in these times.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.